Welcome to the Jerry and
Dr. Laura Show.
Sponsored by the Auto Shop. You can reach us at 972-578-0588, or you can schedule online at
www.theautoshop.com.
All right, Jerry, I got a car question for you.
You're going to start off with a car question?
Starting, boom, right into it.
Man, you don't even give me a time to warm up. What a brat.
Well, that's what a lot of people do with their vehicles. They don't give them time to warm up.
That's a fact.
That brings me to the question of, can I use synthetic oil instead of regular oil in my vehicle?
Why would you want to do that?
Well, because then I won't have to change my oil as often. It won't cost me as much money. If I put synthetic oil in, no, this is true. This is what I heard. What a customer said, if I put synthetic oil in, then I only have to change my oil every 10,000 or maybe 15,000 miles.
I'm going to laugh again. Don't do that. That's bad.
Okay, why is that bad? Honestly, why can we not do that?
Okay, so in the old days, when they first came, the first one that was on the market publicly was called Mobil 1. And Mobil 1 had some additives to it that actually destroyed the seals.
Oh, okay.
So
we're talking like 1970s,
yeah,
60s,
70s and 80s.
70s, 80s? Okay.
Yeah, and you got to remember the synthetic oil was created primarily for jet engines, right? And they needed to have high temperature, and you got to make it hot right now. And the problem with natural oil with that environment is it cokes up. The term is coke up, not Coca-Cola like you drink.
Okay, so give me a real example of coking up of the oil.
Well, look at the bottom of your frying pans or some of your baking dishes in the
like
kitchen.
The cookie sheets. Oh, like you put something on there and you just scrub it and you can't get it off?
And you can't get it off, and it's all sticky.
So that's
and
called
you just,
coking?
Yeah, and
Okay.
in turbochargers, when you try and use a synthetic oil, natural oil instead of a synthetic oil, what happens is the tubes that run the lubricant, the oil through them, they get so hot that those tubes that they used to use would plug up, and the turbochargers would get no lubrication, and they're running at 15 to 30,000 revolutions per minute with no lubrication. And why do they go bad?
Oh, because you need lubrication.
That's why we started putting synthetic oil in cars. If you have an older vehicle, the engines don't run hot enough to require synthetic oil.
Okay.
And synthetic oil is a lot more expensive than a conventional oil. And more importantly, something that people don't talk about is it's the oil filter. This is a special cutaway view of an oil filter that we have. And I just want you to see inside. It's paper. The inside of the filter is made out of paper.
So all of them, this is a demonstration model, but you're saying that all oil filters on the inside are paper.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
They're all made out of paper. And if you look at this one, at the top here is a spring. It's a little hard to see. If you come in, I can happily show it to you. But at the top of the oil, well, technically the bottom of the oil of this oil
because it goes in this way.
Most of the time, not always. On a Fiat 500, it goes in this way. So when you unscrew it, the oil blops out all over the engine, and they just make a mess.
Why'd they make it like that?
Because it was designed over a bottle of wine.
Okay, I can understand. Okay,
so this filter, when it plugs up, here's what happens. There's a rubber valve at the top, and when the filter unit itself becomes plugged up, the oil bypasses the filter and does not even go inside. So now your engine is running with oil that has no filtration. Okay? So you have a number of issues. Now the oil itself, and it doesn't matter whether it's conventional oil or synthetic oil, it has a detergent rating, right? Just like
in your kitchen when you're washing the dishes.
When you're washing dishes by hand, like we still do at home, right? You put the little soap on the sponge and you start cleaning the oils and the greases, and at some point you have to put more soap on because it stops cutting the oil and the grease, right? The surfactant goes away. It becomes depleted. It gets used up. Well, there's detergent in the oil as well. So this is clean oil, right? And it only has 0 miles on it. So this is like brand new, and you can see what that oil looks like. Here, shake that. That one has 500 miles on it. And you can
500,
see,
okay, well, it's
you can
kinda
see it's
coating
starting
it.
to get a little coating on, a little cafe au lait. This is 3,000 miles.
Oh.
Yeah, look at that. That's
That one
3,000
I have to
miles.
really shake it to even coat.
And
get
look
it.
at how beautiful that is. Isn't
Oh,
that
that's
great?
pretty. That's 3,000 miles. This
That's
is
3,000.
wow.
This one is 6,000 miles. Look at that. Look at that. Okay?
Man.
Now, that is a lot of effort. And look at how it's coating the
Wow.
sides of the glass. Imagine,
That's black. That's like really dark.
imagine if it had 15,000 miles on the oil. It would be like shoving toothpaste through
So
your
it
engine.
really doesn't matter whether it's regular, synthetic blend, or synthetic. You still need to have your oil changed often because otherwise it bypasses the filter and clogs up your engine.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what happens. And
Good to
even
know.
even the manufacturers, I'll tell you, the ones that tell you that you can go 15,000 miles, they only have you do that until it runs out of warranty. Once it runs out of warranty, you're on your own. And there's a reason that they do that. Remember,
Doesn't sound like a good reason to me.
Here's a simple thing to remember, and it doesn't matter who it is, right? Whether it's a General Motors product or whether it's Toyota or Honda or Ford, it doesn't matter. The only way those companies stay in business is selling new cars and parts for old cars,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to just suggest to you, as a master technician that has over 50 years in the industry, there is nothing more expensive than a cheap oil change or a delayed oil change. I
Yeah.
promise you that.
Because a new engine is like what,
Thousands.
$5 to
We had
$15,000, depending on the vehicle, of course,
Yeah,
and the year
thousands.
and so forth.
Yeah, we had a BMW come in. Just the engine alone was 19 grand. Yeah.
Change your oil. Read the specs on the vehicle, whether it needs regular or synthetic or a blend, and make sure you do it more often than what they recommend, even with synthetic.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there are going to be some people that will argue about this, and I'll just suggest come out and look at some of the BMWs and Mercedes that we have here in the building, the engines, when we pull the valve covers off, and it looks like a gelatin mold inside, and they did their oil changes at 15,000 miles. And the engine...
Because of the coking on the inside?
It's sludge buildup. When the gasoline burns, it leaves carbon, and it's soot, and it goes everywhere.
Just like when you burn a candle, there's smoke that goes up in the air.
And that's exactly what is in this oil.
Okay.
And so when it pops through the engine, as it's supposed to, as it's designed to do, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And so it turns the oil into jello.
And this is also why it's good to do an oil flush. There's like an engine flush or additives.
Yeah. It depends on the application, and we'd have our technicians look at it and suggest whether you need it or whether you don't.
Okay.
It's not good for every engine. That's why we don't do it as a blanket policy. We are very selective with the ones that we do. So if you're looking for good, honest auto repair, come see us at the auto shop. And you can call us
At 972-578-0588.
or you can go online at www.theautoshop.com and click for an appointment, and we'd be absolutely happy to help you. And subscribe, tell your
Remember
friends.
to click the subscribe button and the like button and leave comments below.
Yeah, I want to know.
Yeah, we had a great comment last week, 2 weeks ago? So ask whatever questions you have. We really appreciate your interaction with us.
And that's all we got for today.
See
Bye,
you next
everybody. See you
time.
next time.